When it comes to having first-time guests at our church, one of the best things we can do is to get them to fill out a Connect card so that we can follow up with them. And so today on Practical Church Planting, we're going to give you 6 characteristics of an effective Connect card.
Well, welcome back to Practical Church Planting, where in 15 minutes or less, we'll give you practical tips, advice, and encouragement to help you plant and grow healthy churches. My name is Brian Androsi, and joining me is Dylan Dodson, and today we're talking about 6 characteristics of an effective Connect card.
Yes, 6 characteristics.
That's right, all 6 of them.
So here we go. I'll show, if you're watching the video version of this, this is our Connect card.
Spoiler.
It's, what is this, horizontal?
It's a Connect card.
But it's more of a horizontal than a vertical one. It's rectangular.
No, it is vertical, not horizontal.
It is vertical, not horizontal. On the front side, it says, "What's next? Connect with us," in our logo. On the back, it says, "Connect with us." We ask for name, email, and phone, and it says, "My next step is, I'd like more information, choose to follow Jesus today, I'd like to serve, join a community group, or get baptized." So they have 5 options.
Yep.
And that's what it looks like. And we also, if you're watching this, we have a Connect banner that goes at our Connect table. That's the same color as this bluish teal.
It's the exact same design, actually.
So it goes really well.
Yeah.
So I don't know whose idea that was, but great job. But this is what ours looked like. So we're going to talk about what you should do on yours and how you can use them more effectively. Here's number 1, and this might be the best thing we've ever said. This is going to blow you out.
Blow your mind.
Number 1, have one. So
shut it down now.
It can't be effective if you don't have one.
Yes.
And so you need to have one. Maybe to make this more applicable or practical or whatever, have the same one, like have a consistent one that you use. And so if you want to connect with first-time guests, I don't think it's very wise just to assume that they're going to come and give you all their information. Most people on their first time, or maybe not most, but a good percentage of people on the first time may not give you anything. Yeah. And so one of the first few times you're there, hopefully you can get some information from them so that you can follow up with them. But if you don't even have a Connect card, the chance of them just walking up and giving you all their information is very slim. It's a lot more easier and less intimidating if they could have something to write it down and to turn it in. And so that may seem obvious, but many churches may not have one, because you may assume you're small, you don't need one. But from day one, if you don't have one, get one. You need to have a Connect card.
I think it can be easy to maybe think you don't need one if you're at a position, or maybe you haven't planted yet, but all the people that you have, right? And so it might be easy to think that I don't have a lot of new people come in, or maybe it's going to be a while till I expect new people, or something along those lines. Yep. So it's easy to think that there's no purpose for it now. But I would say, regardless of where you are, you need one today.
Right. You need a Connect card. Yeah. So again, if you're meeting in your house and you haven't launched yet, maybe that dynamic's different. But if you've started the church and you expect or are hoping or praying for a new person to come, have a Connect card.
And I would say, even if you are doing a little house church and pre-launch and haven't launched yet, if you have people gathering, not that you need to blow a ton of money on it. We'll talk a little bit about that. But I would say at least have something, because you never know if the guy who's been coming may just bring his neighbor.
Right.
And you're not expecting new people, but if someone does show up, you want to be prepared and expect them to come.
Right. So the number 1 most important effective characteristic of a Connect card is to have one.
Yes.
All right. So here's number 2. And this is probably one that a lot of churches get wrong. Yeah. Maybe more so churches that have been around for a while. Maybe not so much church plants, but still it can be a problem, is that you need to keep it minimal. It's very, very susceptible to do one of 2 things, or both. 1, put a ton of information on it so you don't even know what to look at. Or B, 2, ask for a ton of things, and so people don't fill it out. I don't know what the statistic is, but basically the more things that you ask people to fill out, the less likely they're going to fill it out. And I probably should have looked it up for this episode, but the magic number seems to be 3. Once you ask for more than 3 things, the chances of somebody filling something out significantly decrease. And so for ours, again, on the front, if you're not watching the video version of this, you can't see it, but it literally says, "What's next? Connect with us," and our logo. That's it. On the back, it says "Connect with us," and all we ask for is 3 things: name, email, and phone. So if you can only ask for 3 things, we're leaving off maybe one of the obvious things, and that is address. But that's 4 things. And we would rather have a Connect card with some information than very few Connect cards with all the information.
Yes.
So all we ask is for name, email, and phone. And then it says, "My next step is," and like I said earlier, there's a list of 5 things. Most people leave them blank. But if you want to, all you have to do is check it. You don't have to say, you don't have them write in what they want to do. There's 5 options, and all they have to do is write a check mark if they're interested in any of those things. But all we ask them for is 3 things: name, email, and phone. Because if you ask for too many things, people won't fill it out. And if you have too much information on your Connect card, people also won't even look at it.
Yeah, I think that I've seen a lot of, debate, people kind of debating or arguing of what those 3 things are, what information they should be asking for. And it seems like a ton of people want to ask for address. And I think a lot of this is also dependent on what your follow-up process is going to be. For instance, if your follow-up process is to send them something, if that's what you want to do for new people, then you do need to ask for address. Maybe that's more important than I don't know how it could be more important than the other three, but but it is dependent on your follow-up process. But you kind of have to cut out some things that you might think are important. Like I see a lot of people saying that they want to include prayer requests on there, which is seemingly an okay thing. But then just if you look at it, if you don't even read it, there's a lot of blanks and it looks like a lot to fill in.
Right. I
think just naturally you start to think that this is not something
right. And again, if you have an individual Connect card, therefore new people probably aren't going to give you a prayer request. If you want a way of collecting prayer requests from your people, I wouldn't put it on your Connect card, because your people aren't looking at your Connect cards because they see them as Connect cards. They're not the same thing. And so you want to keep them separate. For us, I mean, I would love to have people's address, but it's a trade-off that I'm willing to make to get more. And plus, if someone really wants to get connected, it's really easy to then follow up with them and ask for their address if they start to serve, or if they want to join a group. Like we have it on here, I want to join a community group, and so we're going to follow up with them asking where they live. And so again, context specific could change. Again, if you're in an area where addresses are important, or for whatever reason you're part of your follow-up process, add it. But just know, once you get more than 3 things, you're starting to ask a lot. Sometimes people will ask for like birthday, the number of kids people have, like all these things. Like you don't need that stuff. So keep it minimal, both the information you have on there and what you ask for people. That way people are more likely to fill it out. That's number 2, keep it minimal. Number 3, and this is something we've actually just done recently, is that you want to make it visually appealing. So if you see ours, up until, I don't know, a couple months ago when we switched, we used cardstock. Like that's all it was. And it was black because it was cheap. So it was black ink on cardstock, which is definitely better than nothing, but it doesn't look as nice as this does. Like this, if you're new, you're going to probably pull this out and even see what it is because it's got some color on it. Now, again, it's more expensive. If you're a brand new church, you might not be able to afford it. We're just giving you advice on how to make things the most effective. So I get it if you can't do it, but if it's possible, make it somewhat visually appealing so that people will actually pull it out and look at it.
Yeah. And I would add to that, before you rule it out, especially if you're on a lower budget, explore the options out there. Because it's the way we went, it probably wasn't the cheapest way out there, but it was not as expensive as I thought it would be. And so I think a lot of times we automatically just rule things out because it seems like something that would cost, but call around, look at the local printing companies, their Staples, their Office Depot, and like look at different sizes of things. And there are ways to do things that are semi-affordable.
And I'm not a statistician, so I don't know the numbers on this, but you can ask this way, like how much is a Connect card worth? I mean, they are pretty valuable. If someone will actually give you your information, obviously you can't break the bank for it, but it's not like it's something that doesn't matter. And so, again, if your budget is tight, there are things that definitely matter more than how appealing your Connect card is, but it also doesn't not matter if you think it's important to get people's information.
And with making it appealing, I think one thing that's helped in our scenario, you said before it was black and white and now it's color, is really one of the biggest differences. Is in our context, we put it in our Bibles. So we have Bibles in the seat backs, and so we have it sticking out of the Bible. And so we have, if you can see it, we have the top that just says what's next. So that's what's sticking out of the Bible. So there's something there that isn't just like a white piece of paper or something that actually would draw their eye to it. And so it would make them take it out to at least see what this thing is.
I think sometimes too, churches will have a bunch of stuff in their seat backs, like all these papers, and that's just, nobody's going to look at it. So you want to make it stand out some as well, and make it visually appealing if you can. And I would say this, regardless of what you use, don't use a piece of paper. Like cardstock. I don't know what you would call this, but it's a little bit
matte cardstock.
But it's a little bit thicker than normal cardstock. But
it's heavy.
Just don't use a piece of paper, which leads us into point number 4, is that it needs to be easy to write on. And so cardstock is easy to write on. I think you can get in trouble if you get something glossy and nice, and then you like, I can't even like write on this. But also this goes with a piece of paper, because if somebody pulls out a piece of paper and they don't have a Bible or something to write on, like if it's not something that's a little bit harder or more firm, they can at least put on their lap and write on it, they're much less likely to fill it out. And so again, it can't be flopping around, and it can't be something that's like super fancy and looks good, but when you get a pen, it like doesn't work.
We actually had the problem at a church I was with previously where we had Connect cards on launch, and then we went to write on them and realized you had to like really dig into it to write on it. So we had to completely order all new ones. But that was one thing that we made sure when we ordered them to talk to the people. We got them at Staples, I think was their Office Depot, and talk to the people that were making them before choosing what material. Say, hey, we need any type of pen to be able to write on this. And so there were some options that we liked that we had to rule out because of that.
So yeah, again, you want people to, it's got to be an effective Connect card. Can't write on it.
It's very true.
It's not effective. Number 4, make it easy to write on. Number 5, and this is the more about the effective part than the Connect card itself, but we talk about this a lot of practical church planning, is you have to talk about it every single week. You have to talk about it every single week so that people will fill it out. Here's the thing. Number 1, we've talked about this before. It trains your people to know if they bring somebody new that they'll be recognized. Not in an awkward, like calling them out, but just know like, hey, we expect new people. Here's the thing is, a lot of people, I would be like this, and I'm even a follower of Jesus. I wouldn't fill out a Connect card my first week somewhere.
Yeah.
Unless I really, really liked it. Like it's going to be 2 or 3 times, which is part of it. And when we talking about every week, we switched our language somewhat recently. Instead of saying if it's your first time, we say if you're new with us, because you're probably not going to fill it out on your first time. And if you don't talk about it every week, and you can, let's say you're a small church or a church plant, and you can see that nobody is new because they've come before, well, they might have still never filled out a Connect card.
Right.
So number 1, you want to train your people to know if they bring someone new, you'll talk about it. But number 2, even if it's not someone's first time, it doesn't mean you don't have their information. So you want to talk about it every week so that people will actually pull it out. Because if you don't mention it, the chances of someone just like pulling it out and filling it out are very slim, because even if they do pull it out, they might not even know where to take it.
Yeah. And I think this can seem like it gets kind of awkward, and especially if you are doing this every week and you feel like maybe you don't have a lot of new people. I think sometimes you can kind of get this feeling that you're just kind of hounding people for information. But I think it helps if you sort of switch your mindset a little bit of, we're not just trying to get information to grow our email list or whatever, right, but it's actually to help people take that next step. And we know they won't, or they're less likely to do it if they're not connected here. So we're trying to get them more connected. And I think if we kind of flip the mindset to something like that versus just how many Connect cards did we get today, then it becomes a lot easier to get up there and say the same thing or something similar every week, even if it feels like you're not getting any in, because you realize how important it is.
Right. So yeah, that's perfect points, Brian, there, is that you want to talk about it every week so that people will actually fill it out. And then number 6, give people a gift that they actually want.
Yes.
So this
not
is
just a gift.
Not, yeah. So again, this isn't maybe not Connect card specific, but this is how to help it be more effective. Is that you want to give, so a lot of churches will do, I mean, we did this when we started, mugs, or you might do a pin, or if you want to go all out, maybe you'll do a t-shirt, I don't know. Like a lot of stuff, it's church branded.
Yes.
And it's like, who really cares? Especially if you're new. Some point last year, I don't know how long we've been doing it, we switched to Chick-fil-A gift cards.
Yeah.
And to be able to say from stage that you're going to get a Chick-fil-A gift card is like, awesome.
Yeah.
And
totally.
There's a joke that some of the people that do Next Steps, even though they'll still say it like almost every week, and there are people still laugh every single week talking about how you can't use it today, but you can use it tomorrow.
Right.
People want Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
And so we don't tell them the amount. It's only $5. So when they go and they get a $5 Chick-fil-A gift card, but it's like, I actually want that. Now, if you don't have a Chick-fil-A in your area, I'm sorry. But something that people actually want. I mean, you could do like Starbucks, but we didn't go. I mean, maybe at one point we did. I don't know. We don't use that though, because it's kind of like everybody does that.
Yep.
Like it's not unique. We had this conversation because we looked at doing an e-card, like that you could text to somebody so you get their information, which we love that idea, but Chick-fil-A doesn't do an electronic one that way, so we didn't. But you could do, like Target, for example, does. But for us, we felt like a $5 Target gift card is kind of like a slap in the face, because nobody spends $5 at Target. Yep. But if you spend $10 at Chick-fil-A, $5 is significant.
Totally.
And so again, you just want to find something that people actually want, so they'll actually trade your Connect card for it.
Yeah, it's so easy to think that some church branded some swag of some sort is the best idea because they'll be in front of their face and they'll see it more often. But I think people want church branded stuff once they're bought in and once they're a member, once they've been going there for a long time. Then people want a mug or a shirt or whatever. But their first time, they're not even sure, and maybe they have the guts to fill something out. They don't care about a mug with your thing.
Because again, the point is getting the Connect card.
Yeah.
And they want something, I mean, as great as a mug would be in their house, and maybe one day the Holy Spirit will strike them and they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, the way the sun is shining on my mug means I need to go.
Right.
A mug is not going to get me to fill out a Connect card,
no.
But I'll take a Chick-fil-A gift card. And in fact, even though I wouldn't fill out something if I'm new, I might fill out something just to get a Chick-fil-A gift card, even if I don't give you my right email address. Yep. But hey, at least I'll do it. You got something.
Right.
And so again, giving something people that actually want makes them much more likely to fill it out.
Yeah, totally.
So again, those are the characteristics of an effective Connect card. Again, have one, keep it minimal, make it visually appealing, have it easy to write on, talk about it every week, and give a gift people actually want. So thanks for listening today. And again, if we talked about watching this, if you want to see it, you can go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page and watch the video version of the podcast. And we'll see you next time on Practical Church Planting. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Practical Church Planting. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Practical Planting, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure you like or subscribe or do whatever it's telling you to do or should do on that platform.
And hey, if you are so tired of looking at our ugly faces, but you're not tired of listening to our beautiful voices, then you can find our podcast if you just search Practical Church Planting on iTunes or Google Play. Make sure not to just find it, not just to listen, but to subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Brian, tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe.
See you next time.